Welcome back. Okay, so today we're looking at our Freeman loader. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the pump off here, and we're going to take it apart and investigate it. Hopefully get a seal kit for it. It's a little jerky on the operation of it, and it looks like maybe it's got a little bit of oil leaking. But basically what we got to do here is there's a couple of bolts. I don't know if we can see them in there now. It's kind of dark. I'll tell you what, let me get a light here. We'll see if we can't get a better look at it. But on David Brown here, the 880, you've got a bolt right there, and then another one there, and then the shaft goes through the radiator and ties into the front hub on the crankshaft. So it's just those two bolts, and then you got the two lines, the intake line and then the pressure line to take those off. So that's not too big of a deal to get that off. We're also going to pull off the valve body here. We've got leaking pretty good out the front here, and you can just see where it's been leaking down on the line. We've got oil all over our base here and everything, so it's leaking out the back of our valve body here where the two handles are and our rods that go in there. So we're going to go ahead and pop this thing off as well, and we'll get these into the clean room to where we can dismantle them and investigate them, hopefully get new seals, O-rings, whatever it's got in it, and get it sealed up to where it's not going to leak. It doesn't do too bad unless you're really, if you're lifting a lot of weight with it, or pushing dirt, gravel, stuff like that. The more pressure obviously you put on it, then yeah, it starts to leak a bit much. So we're going to go ahead and take a gander at that and see if we can't get that situation rectified. So we will tune back in here later and see how the process is going. All right, hey, welcome back. Here we are. We got our valve assembly off of our Freeman loader, and what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to dismantle this bad boy and see if we can get new seals for it. Get it all fixed back up, maybe make it stop leaking oil. It leaks very little until you start really applying pressure to it. If you're using the loader, have weight in there, higher RPMs, that kind of stuff, more oil flow, then it tends to leak out of our two valves. Our handles, of course, would be back here. They mount on like so, and actually they mount on like this. And we got leakage back around here on these sweeps, and we also had leaks out the end here. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to try to take this end cap off here so that we can get that system out. I've already cracked most of my fittings loose. That's just a massive plug that we have in there. Down inside, that's the return ports there on the bottom. And that's where it comes out of. You can see the plunger down inside there a little bit. So let's go ahead. Now what we have to do, okay, so what we're going to do is we'll put that handle on there, and then we're going to pull that back just enough so we can get that clip off there. And I'm going to put this block. So I put that block in there to hold my handle back so that I've got room in here to try to get this clip out. Now we're not working in the clean room today. We're actually working out in the barn, and we have just absolutely beautiful weather out here for February the 23rd. We're running about 63, 64 degrees, so that is awesome. I'll take it for this time of year. Block this up a little bit here. spin this thing out of its groove, I guess, here. Now that is a different type of a spring clip, not a circlip, what we're used to here on our David Brown stuff. A couple paper towels. Clean that out a little bit. I think a bit more dirty back here. Okay. Gotta remove the paint from the other end. See if I get that. There we go. Alright. Got that off of there. Okay, we got that cleaned off there now. Okay. There we go. All right, here's our first valve out. Initial inspection. Okay. All right, now we got this other side to do. Now, this end, it has this nut in the middle. I'm not sure what that's for. We loosened it up, but also has this. Now, I don't have a spanner wrench, so what I did is I took 1/4-inch rods and I took 2 of them and stuck them in there like that, and then using the jumbo adjustable wrench, I got on there and gave it a good thud, and it popped it right loose. If you had a spanner wrench, obviously you have all that set up to do that, but since I don't, we'll do it this way. Hands are all oily. There's our seal. I'm not sure what that's all about. It's like a collet in there. I'm not sure if that's broken, or I bet that's supposed to be that way. That's what I'm gonna guess. There's another piece in there. just leave that over here for now. So we can get it apart and get it cleaned up. It has like a brass thing up there. Spring on it there. Okay, so we have two different valves here. As you can see, this one has a lot more fluting in it. That is to probably allow the oil to get coming in. It comes in on this side, allow it to pass this valve to get over to this valve so that you can operate this valve. And this is the dump valve on the cylinder. So you dump the bucket this way. This valve is your raise and lower valve. So those are our two valves that we have there. All right. It looks relatively clean. I mean, it's a little bit of usage there. We get it cleaned up, but it looks like these things don't have any seals. They just kind of flow inside the barrel there, which is kind of what I was anticipating. So I guess that's good. So this here must be a pop-off valve. Nah, this is a different valve. It has a ball in it. It somehow controls your flow of something there. There again, not really too familiar with this type of a system. First time I've ever had one of these apart. Another one. That little thing in there. Pressurization there. Now this back here, this will be our pop-off valve, our relief valve. Got a feeling this one may pop pretty good when it gets all the way loose. Okay, after further inspection, we have seals that fit up into the barrel, the bore actually, on both ends, just inside here, right inside in this first groove, right down in here, and then, boy, this sucker's heavy, in the back, they're down farther into the bore. Boy, further into the bore, back down into here, this first groove way back in there. Boy, that thing's heavy. Anyway, they're bad. The seals aren't sealing. That's why we had issues with it leaking. And basically what you're looking at is on either end of the valve assembly here. This is operated by the handle to give you your movement. It's neutral in the middle, spring-loaded to be neutral. Then you either pull it back to operate the cylinder one way or push it forward to operate the cylinder the other way. I believe pushing it forward lengthens the cylinder and pulling it back contracts or shortens the cylinder. But these are little seals, and they're kind of a seal and a sweep both together that fit on the end of it inside the housing over there, and then that seals the oil inside the whole system there. Now these are ground, a lot like our David Brown control valve. I believe these are all ground and matched to the bores inside of here. And this is just a seal, like I say, that acts as a sweep too on the back side, because this is exposed out here. This is all exposed with a handle. So we're gonna have to try to find 4 of these little boogers. And if you see, it's kind of right in here. You can see how it's got a notch in there. That's the sweep part of it. That actually sticks down. Whoop. That actually is angled right here so that it is pushed back in by your shaft sticking through there. So we've got that, and we've got a couple of O-rings. I haven't taken these off yet that fit on here. One on this one and one on this valve. And then we've got copper washers that fit on some of our bigger pieces here. So we're gonna have to make a run down to Greenfield. We'll check out MSP seals and see if they have anything like that. I'm thinking that I needed something similar to this on the power assist steering cylinder of the David Brown, and they didn't have a soft rubber one like this. This is soft rubber. They had one that had more of a hard metal shell around it. That's not going to work in this instance, because we've got to be able, particularly back here, we've got to be able to tuck it in. It's got to go into the bore, so you got to be able to kind of fold it, you know, and fit it back into the bore, and then seat it into the groove back in there. So we're gonna have to do some investigating, see what we can find. We may end up having to just use a giant O-ring. I guess that's a possibility to try to get the thing to seal. We'll check around. There used to be a repair kit available for not only the valve but the pump. I doubt we'll be able to find those anywhere. Speaking of the pump, I kind of was looking at it, and it really seems to be in pretty good shape. It's kind of tight to turn. We had no leak around our back seal, which is here. There was no leaking around the shaft. The gears all look good inside of it. It's like I say, it's got some resistance to it when you turn it. So I'm kind of weighing whether or not I want to actually take it apart. I guess I need to figure that out pretty quickly if I'm gonna go down there. It does have a date stamped on it, 1067. So it must have been made in October of 1967, which goes with when the vehicle was purchased. Dad bought it in December of 67. When it was delivered in January, it did not have the loader on it. And it probably, by my guess, they probably put the loader on when Dad took it in for the 50-hour service, which was in May, I believe, of 68, May or June of 68. So maybe that's when they put the loader on it, but I know I've got pictures of it without the loader on it. And it had its front wheel weights on it, the David Brown did. So it was delivered without the loader installed. Maybe they had to manufacture it, or I don't really know, but so that's where we're at with this. Still kicking around about whether or not to dismantle this pump and go through it. It's not that hard to take it off, but it's off right now and ready to go. I guess my only concern is if I can't find the seals. The seal, this is a lot like the Pleasy pump that David Brown used in the rear hydraulics. You've got the center body part, and then you got the two, mosquito. You got a front and an end plate on it. And then of course the shaft that comes out, and it's got a gear on it, but it's very similar to that. So I'm guessing there's like a giant O-ring type seal that fits around in here and goes, you know, around the body and seals the two together. There may not be, maybe there's nothing there. I don't know, we wouldn't know till we take it apart. But anyway, just a little update on what we're doing here. We're just getting stuff cleaned up with the gasoline. Got a couple parts soaking over there to get the paint off of them. And like I say, we found out there's very few seals in this valve body, which I anticipated that. So it's just a matter now of finding the parts, and then we can reassemble everything. Yay!